Tonight begins 7 days in a row of Cactus League play on Comcast Sportsnet. And it all starts with a hot-hitting Paul Canero and our White Sox taking on the Oakland A's. We are coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Paul Canero, Alex Rios, and Robin Ventura's White Sox as they get set to butt heads with Bob Melvin's surprise 2012 Oakland Athletics. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson. We get set to bring you the first of 5 games coming your way right here on Comcast Sportsnet in the next week. And, Steve, some good news as far as Diaza and Rios back in the Sox uniform.
The team is reunited, and both of those guys feel very good about what they did in the World Baseball Classic. Last year, Diaza hit .281 and was a catalyst at the top of the order, and Rios hit .304. He drove in 92 runs. These are two guys very important to the team, and this is a team, Hawk, that has got to score some runs to support the pitching staff.
Also, some good news about Jesse Crain.
Jesse Crain is going to throw 1 inning, and he's going to see how he feels. Now, obviously, the disabled list is always a possibility, but if he feels good, it is possible that he can break camp with the team and come north and stay off the disabled list. On the other side of the coin, John Danks, although he's going to continue to throw in minor league games, he is going to start the year on the disabled list, so hopefully those guys are both healthy.
Well, Danks is healthy. You've been there and done that. You went through that. What he has to do is what?
He's got to get the arm strength back, because there is no doubt that with no pain, he's going to come back. It's just a question of when. And with Jesse Crain, the same kind of situation. He hasn't thrown a lot this spring, so hopefully Jesse can show that he is ready to start it. But long after the physical aspect of an injury takes hold, the psychological aspect is still there.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. Jose Quintana on the bump, and we'll be back with White Sox baseball right after this.
Part of the NBC Sports Group.
Welcome back to Phoenix Municipal Stadium on a beautiful night. Let's take a look at how Robin is going to line up our Sox tonight. Alejandro Diaza leading off, and then it's Alexei Ramirez, Alex Rios, Connor Gillespie, Paul Canero in the 5 spot, which is where he'll hit this year. Viciedo, Jimenez, Flowers, and Beckham rounded out. The defense for Oakland. Left to right, Young, Crisp, and Reddick in the outfield. Rosales, Nakajima, Sizemore, and Moss in the infield. Derek Norris behind the plate. And hard-throwing Derek Parker, our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher. There's a look at the youngster who won 13 games last year. 91 to 96 mile-an-hour fastball. He's got a hard slider to go with it. He has a split-like changeup. And he is very impressive in just his 2nd year of action. A former #1 draft choice of the Arizona Diamondbacks came over in a deal. He's just one of many very promising young pitchers this Oakland team trots out there. And last year, they won the division. Going to be a whole lot tougher this year because the Angels look loaded. So with the Sox coming in at 11, 10, and 2, and spring training winding down, we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the first night game for us this spring. Tomorrow night we'll have another one for you against the Dodgers, and it also right here over Comcast Sportsnet. But leading off for us is Alejandro Diaza. Alejandro last year hit .281, 9 homers, and knocked in 50. First pitch of the ball game, and that's taken high and wide. Diaza, since coming back from the World Baseball Conference, 6 for 17. Checks it up, takes a strike.
Parker has two types of fastballs, a four-seamer, which is straight, which he tries to keep into the left-handers, and a two-seamer, which will run away. And he's got a very strong arm.
He impressed us last year. And there he pulls the string on him, had him way out in front.
Well, anytime you have that kind of fastball and have a couple of other pitches like his slider with a whole lot of tilt, which means it goes down, and a changeup that seems to be close to unhittable, you're going to win your share.
Checks it up on that one. Well, as we've talked about many times, 5 worst words you can tell a hitter. They don't care if he's got a great fastball, or you can tell him he's got a great curveball. But if you say he's got a great changeup, that's the 5 worst words a hitter can hear. Checks it up on that, and the count goes full.
Well, that changeup makes that 91 to 96 mile an hour fastball look probably a good foot faster than it really is. Fouled away left side. And here at Phoenix Municipal Stadium, 345 down the lines, 390 in the gaps, and 410 straight away center. And you and I both played in this park. We did indeed, and I remember one thing. I love to play here because the lights aren't too good.
Well, that means that I was 0 for 4 then. There's a 2-hopper. Parker right where he should be. So Brandon Moss to Parker, 1 out, and that'll bring up Alexei. Well, if you miss the opening, Jesse Crane is going to make a start against the minor league team, go 1 inning tomorrow, and that could be very, very significant, very important, because as Steve and I we're talking prior to the game, both those guys on the DL when the season starts, that's a big disadvantage for us.
Well, it certainly is that, and with Johnny Danks not back for an indeterminate amount of time, it looks like Dylan Axelrod probably would be number 5. And a different scenario for Jesse Crane. Obviously there are a few candidates, but it looks like Brian Omogrosso has had a good spring, would probably be the guy they turn to.
Brian finished up very strong last year. Yeah. Alexei can't get it. Alexei on the spring hitting at .268, no homers. He's driven in 4, of course, last year. 9 homers and drove in 73. But he is better than that. And looking for him to rebound. 2 down.
So far, Parker has shown the good changeup. He's shown an excellent fastball. And that last time he threw a hard slider in the dirt. Nice pick by Norris. And Alexei down on strikes.
Here's Alex. 7 for 14 since coming back. Takes first pitch strike. Anthony Johnson, home plate umpire. Last year, Alex, 304, 25 long ones, and 91 knocked in, and played just an all-star caliber right field. Good eye right there.
Take a look at the umpires. You got Anthony Johnson behind the plate, Angel Campos at first, Jim Joyce, the crew chief, at second, and Ben May is at third.
Parker, who pitched against us earlier in the spring, the Sox lit him up pretty well. But not in the top of the first inning. 1, 2, 3, a couple of strikeouts, and after half inning of play, it's our guys nothing, and their guys coming to bat.
Now Oakland is going to line up their ball club tonight. Coco Crisp leading it off, and then it's Sizemore, Reddick, Cespedes, Young, Norris, Moss, Nakajima, and Rosales rounded out. The defense behind Quintana: Viciedo, Diaza, and Rios in the outfield. Gillespie, Ramirez, Beckham, and Canero in the infield. Hector Jimenez behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jose Quintana. Last year, his first year in the major leagues, he looked pretty good. He started out throwing the ball exceptionally well, had great control, and then got a little tired at the end of the year, and that's what he's done this spring.
And here is Coco Crisp, switch hitting 33-year-old veteran. Takes first pitch strike. Crisp hitting at 344 on the spring with a couple of homers, and he's knocked in 5.
Always a problem with Coco Crisp is, will he stay healthy? If he does, he certainly is a force at the top.
He has always hurt our ball club, both with the bat and the leather.
Well, as you can see with that batting average and on base percentage, he doesn't walk a great deal.
Close, off the plate. So our 24-year-old southpaw down in the count, 3-1. And it is full. Sellout crowd tonight.
Looked like a pretty good pitch. And that walk down to first base is not going to endear him to Anthony Johnson.
Payoff. And there's ball 4. And we understand that we're having a lot of technical difficulties with our center field camera because somebody, something, car, truck, tractors ran over the cable. And they are working very diligently trying to get it fixed. So here's Scott Sizemore. Sizemore on the spring of 167. Scott, of course, formerly with the Tigers, and he takes ball 1.
He was drafted in 2006 in the 5th round, and they had such high hopes for him, but it didn't work out for him. He never really showed all that much power until last year, well, the year before actually, when he hit the ball out of the park a little bit.
Yeah, one of those was against us, and it was a big one.
Of course, the son of Ted Sizemore, former major leaguer, and a very good one. Probably Ted's best days were with the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's can of corn. Alex is there, and that's out number 1.
And Hawk, as long as spring training is, and it's especially long this year, you get to this point where you have less than a week left. Are these guys still trying to accomplish anything? Or are they just so anxious to get the season going that they're going to swing early at the count?
They would love to have left here last week.
Most of them ready to go right now?
Most of them come in almost ready to go. Hitters only need a week or 10 days. Pitchers need obviously a little bit longer than that, but as you know, we've talked about it many times. This is a fan spring training, and it always really has been. The only difference being is that in our time frame, or my time frame, I was before you, guys would come in, they're 20, 30 pounds overweight, and they would have to work so hard to get in shape. By the time the season started, they were out of gas. Now these guys come in, everybody is in shape. If you're not in shape when you come to spring training camp, you've got to be foolish, because you're not going to make the ball club. Reddick. Josh fouls that one over left side. And no play. Reddick, big part of this offense. Last year, 32 homers, 85 RBIs out of Savannah, Georgia.
I assume this year they're going to pitch him completely differently, because last year he showed, for the most part, his power was right center to the right field line. He was a dead pull hitter. He loves the ball down, cannot hit the ball up at all. So if Jose wants a high fastball, let her high, probably turns into a strikeout. Reddick did that 155 times last year.
Josh hitting .314, 3 homers, 10 RBIs on the spring. He's hitting at .293 as a club with a 5.93 ERA, while our Sox are hitting .308 with a 5.00 ERA.
Try to throw that high fastball. I'd like to see him back it up with another one. A little bit up and out of the zone. Do you ever have a beard like that?
I couldn't grow one. I couldn't grow a mustache. The only mustache I ever had was 1995. That was the cost of it. He gone. 2 down.
I think Reddick is going to see a lot of high fastballs this year. He just doesn't catch up to it up there, and by high we're talking about just maybe a little bit above the belt. He loves the ball down knee level.
So here's Cespedes. Last year at .292, 23 homers, 82 driven in. Having a tough spring with the bat. 194. Couple of homers, and he's knocked in 5. This guy can do it all.
Well, he showed last year to a lot of guys who didn't believe that he was ready to face major league pitching that he had everything you would need to be very successful. Now, do you compare his bat speed with Viciedo?
I think he's a little quicker. He's got a live bat. Viciedo's probably got the livest bat in the league, but they're very, very similar. Cespedes is 27 years old, and our guy is 24, as there's a 5-4 fielder's choice. And after 1 inning of play, there's no score. score, top of the second inning. Jerry Parker concluding his warm-up tosses. Boy, a lot of changes over the winter for a club that won 94 games last year. Gone from 2012, Brandon Allen, Dallas Braden, Colin Cowgill, Valtino de los Santos, Joey Devine, Stephen Drew, Johnny Gomes, Brandon Inge, Brandon McCarthy, and of course a guy who was really loved out there in that franchise, Kurt Suzuki. But hey, this is Derek Norris behind the plate. I don't know if he's as good defensively, but he sure has a chance to be a real good offensive player.
And they got a platoon system here with John Jaso. They have an interesting platoon system. Jaso, a good hitter who doesn't catch particularly well. Norris, a very good defensive catcher and caller of the game who doesn't hit particularly well. But Norris has some pretty big power. That's one of the reasons why they like him.
As Gillespie pops it up. Coco Crisp, 1 out. Everybody that we have talked to, and every time we've seen, likes this guy right here. And of course, we also like this guy coming to the plate. Hitting at .367 on the spring, 5 homers and 10 RBIs. Some of the newly acquired athletics for 2013, Grant Green, Arnold Leon, Hiro Nakajima, shortstop, as that's popped up. First ball, Honey. Reddick will finally surround it, corral it, 2 down.
Well, Reddick's a terrific outfielder, and it's always been tough to play outfield here, especially when you don't play too many night games. We told you about the lights, and that ball got way above the lights, so tough to follow. But last year, Reddick had 15 assists from right field, and he got to the point where guys just stopped running against him because he's got a rocket for an arm. He never got much of a chance with the Boston Red Sox, but he got his opportunity here, and last year certainly made the most of it.
Here's Viciedo. Takes first pitch strike. Tank hitting at .304. Couple homers, 11 knocked in. Of course, another big pickup for him for 2013, Chris Young, who's playing left field. That's up and in. 2 balls and a strike to Tank.
I think Young is ticketed as a platoon player with Coco Crisp in center. Cespedes will play left, and Young won't get that many at bats.
Good motion, pulls the string, and the count evens at 2.
Get the off-speed pitch over, and you're going to get a lot of guys looking like that.
Ground ball, bobbled, contained, throws him out. So that is 6 up, 6 down for Jared Parker.
Tickets for the 2013 season are on sale now. Prices have been greatly reduced for nearly all games, and the schedule is full of great matchups, promotional nights, family Sundays, and post-game fireworks. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
No score, bottom of the second inning. A lot of Sox fans in attendance tonight. As a matter of fact, we had a Sox fan, big Sox fan, who's pitching against us tonight. Jared Parker.
He grew up as a Sox fan.
Yeah, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
But the Sox really didn't have much of a chance because in 2007 he was drafted in the first round, the 9th pick overall by the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Here's Chris Young. Takes first pitch strike. Young hitting at 238. A homer. He's knocked in 5. Steve told you he's probably going to be the platoon because Reddick's going to play and Cespedes is going to play every day.
Young had a very big year with the Diamondbacks back in 2007. 32 home runs, drove in 68. Of course, he was leading off. And he was a terrific defensive center fielder.
Of course, we had Chris in our organization way back when. Close.
Pretty good job of scouting by the Sox back then. Selected in the 16th round in 2001 and actually became a very good player with the Diamondbacks. Coming off very much of an off year last year, hitting just 231. 14 and 41 on the power numbers with the backs.
Fouls that straight back over our heads. He gone. He knew it.
Like to send along best wishes and a speedy recovery to Jack Ruby. So I'm down here for the owners weekend. He looked terrific.
He sure did.
And hope all continues to be well.
Here's Derek Norris, the catcher. Yeah, Jack looked terrific.
Yeah, for a man that age,
don't go there.
He looked great.
That's cold.
Yeah, well.
Truth hurts sometimes, huh? There's ball 1 to Norris, having a big spring. 379, 4 homers, and 7 knocked in. Close pitch in the count, 2-0.
A few years back, second in the Southern League in home runs with 23. So if you make a mistake, he can hurt you. He's not going to hit for a high average, but he will put a charge into one.
There's a strike. Yeah, he had a big game against us out there at the Coliseum. They had some comeback wins in 2012.
That was really a surprise. They had over 100 games started by rookies last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think when the season started anybody would have give you much of a chance that they would win the division, but win it they did.
94 and 68. Count hangs at 2-2. Well, if you look at our division, as we talked about at the top, Danks and Crane are two integral parts of the puzzle. There's no question about that. If they're back, then we have a real good pitching staff. We've got a good bullpen. Danks is Danks if he's healthy and gets his arm strength back. And it just makes us very solid in the starting staff. But the thing we're going to have to do is he gone upstairs, 2 down. Is we're going to have to really catch the ball like we did last year, even better.
Well, I think our guys are perfectly capable of doing that. We're going to have a new third baseman. It's going to be Jeff Keppinger. Certainly Connor Gillespie can fill in down there, and he's shown that he can really hit the ball. So I don't see any reason why we can't duplicate it. Now, as far as unearned runs are concerned, I mean, 34 all of last year was pretty amazing. That's a very low number, and that's a testament to the pitching staff, pitching over some mistakes, although there weren't that many defensive mistakes last year.
But again, when we had them, they pitched over.
Yep.
And we're going to have Don Cooper on next inning. Coop, one of the better ones in that category. You got a good pitch to hit right there and pops him up. So a 1-2-3 inning for Quintana. We'll go to the third. Still no score. No score, top of the third, and joining us down in the dugout right now is one of the best in the business, Don Cooper, our pitching coach. And Coop, thanks for the time, buddy. And let us know a few things about your staff. You're happy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm happy. Everything's kind of where we need to be as far as innings and pitches. I mean, you're watching Quintana here tonight, and he's throwing the ball well. He's done that all spring training. Jake's got tomorrow night's game against the Dodgers. Sailed through good yesterday. Gavin's been throwing it well, so there's the starting staff. You know, unfortunately, John's going to need more time. You know, listen, he's less John Danks. I mean, he's less than a year past surgery, man. And you know, and when somebody goes in there sticking in your arm with a piece of metal to try and take care of something, you know, it takes a while to come back from a shoulder thing. And the good news, he's healthy. He's getting stronger. He's not hurt. It's just a matter of building up more strength. And we just ran out of room down here. We're not going to be able to get that accomplished.
Yeah, Stoney was talking about that in the opening, and saw because Steve went through it, as you know, and it's just the arm strength because, as you mentioned, Dank said he feels healthy. He feels good.
Yeah, you know what? I just kind of saw something today that Johan Santana, who had basically the same surgery, who pitched a good amount last year, is not going to be able to start the season too. And so, you know, we're going to probably handle it a lot more cautiously than maybe they did. I don't know exactly what they did, but we're going to give John the time he needs.
How about the Jesse Crain situation? Because I know he is going to throw tomorrow. How are you evaluating him, Coop?
Well, you know what? We evaluate Jesse by what we've seen in Major League games, which has been nothing but good, for the past 2 seasons with us. We want to try to nip this little groin problem that Jesse has in the bud. I'd rather lose some days now than lose it later. He's still got a little bit of nagging. He wouldn't call it pain. It's more discomfort or irritation. And hopefully tomorrow we can knock that out. And, listen, to get back to your question, for me personally, if we could pitch him tomorrow, day off after that, the next day, every other day for the next 3, and get one in Milwaukee, I'd be happy with it because we know what Jesse brings if he's healthy.
Are you surprised at all? Almagroso, as he strikes out Jimenez, Almagroso finished up very strong last season, and he's just picked it up this spring again.
Yeah, we're lucky to have that, but not only Troncoso, there's another guy, Almagroso. Troncoso's throwing the ball well too, and he's a former big leaguer. He's got some big league time. He and Almagroso have had real nice springs, so it's comforting, I guess, to know that if Jesse's down, we've got a guy, a couple guys there that we feel comfortable with.
First pitch misses to Tyler. Tyler hitting at 308 on the spring. Well, you've got a different situation behind the plate this year, Coop. And I know that you and AJ were very tight. You had your battles, but you're very tight. And tell us about Tyler behind the plate.
Listen, Tyler has been with us, as you know, and he knows all of the pitchers. He's caught them all in the game. He's caught them in the bullpen. He's taken the time to establish relationships with them. He knows what they can do. He handles the game plan well. He blocks, he throws, he catches, he receives, he moves. He does everything, that a guy, a starting catcher, you'd want him to do. And I'm excited for Tyler because this is his first crack at it, being the everyday guy. He's been waiting in the wings, and now his opportunity's come, and I'm pulling for him to grab it. I think he's going to be fine behind the plate. You're better off talking to hitting people about what, I know this. I think in our park he can run into 15 or 20.
Oh, yeah, he's going to hit some home runs, but not on pitches like that. That is the 4th strikeout now for Jerry Parker. The thing, in talking with some of our pitchers, they love throwing to him.
Yeah, they do. They do, and they did in the past too. This isn't new. For a long time, they've been liking to throw to him because, again, they like him when he moves a heck of a lot. He gets down low. He moves in. He moves out. He uses all their pitches. So, and again, he established a relationship with them because I guess you have that extra time being the backup guy. You're not in many games, so he's in the bullpen a lot last year, and certainly spending time with the relievers as well as the starters. So, everything's set in place for Tyler to go out there and have his crack at it.
Don, what are you looking now from the starting pitchers as we're very late in spring training?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, this one tonight, we had to, because we've taken John out of the 3 spot. We've moved Gavin. We're thinking about Gavin in the 3 spot this year and Quintana in the 4th. But everybody's last outing here, or second to last outing rather. This is Q's tonight. Q's big night. He's going to throw 90 to 100 pitches tonight. Jake tomorrow night. Jake, I know, likes to throw about 105, 110 possibly tomorrow night. Sale did that yesterday. Got 100 pitches in. Not in the game. We had to send them to the bullpen, and that's a rarity because, during spring training, you might send guys to the bullpen. Hey, go out and throw 12 more. I had to ask Sale yesterday to go out and throw 20 more, 25 more because he was that effective in the game, and it was a low pitch count. So the second to last outing for everybody, we really get after it, innings and pitches. And the last one here, we back off a little bit for them and to have them strong and ready for their starting day during the season.
Well, Coop, thanks for the time, buddy. I'm glad to hear that you're happy because if you're happy, we're happy.
Always good talking to you guys.
Good luck, Coop.
Hey, Don Cooper, one of the best in the business, has a great relationship and rapport with his students. There's a curveball and another strikeout. He punches out the side. That is number 5. After 2.5, still no score. We have played 2.5 innings, and nobody has safely reached base with a base hit. Crisp walked to lead off the bottom of the first, and since then, Quintana has retired 6 in a row. And Jared Parker, all he's done is retire all 9 he's seen, 5 via the strikeout route. So here's Nakajima, Hiro Nakajima. Takes that pitch up high. He's 30 years old. Last year in Japan, hit .311, 13 homers, and drove in 74.
Well, so far it has not been a particularly good spring for him, and he hasn't done a whole lot. Scouts are getting him at 4.6 to first base, which is not real good. Doesn't have big power, and
wow.
As far as shortstop is concerned, most of the guys I talk to don't feel he can play shortstop in the big leagues. So for 2 years, they gave him $6 million. And if he comes through, they'll be doing Moneyball 2.
Well, I've never pulled for anybody to fail, but here's Adam Rosales, born in Chicago. He's having a good spring after coming off a tough season. 222, 2 homers, 8 RBIs last year, but this spring he's hitting .379, 2 homers. And this guy has always, Stevie, looked good against us.
I like Adam because he can play just about every position in the infield. And if need be, I'm sure he can play him in the outfield. So he's a very valuable man to have around. A nice guy. Spent some time with Cincinnati and now seemingly found a home as a swing player here with Oakland.
Well, he's always, as I mentioned, looked very, very good against us. And the only thing we could say is that he's a heck of a player. Heck of a spot starter any way you want to put him. 1-2 the count. And once again, a reminder, tomorrow night, the game also on Comcast Sportsnet against the Dodgers. Don Mattingly. We have tonight, the 22nd. We also have it tomorrow, 23rd. We have the 24th. Then we have the 26th and 27th.
And the Dodgers took a tremendous blow because Hanley Ramirez in the last World Baseball Classic game tore a ligament in his thumb. He's going to be lost for at least 8 weeks. And when you lose your starting shortstop, especially one with the offensive capabilities of Hanley Ramirez, that's not a real good thing. But as Coop said about our guys that are the walking wounded, if it's going to happen, you want it to happen early, and it has with Ramirez and it has with a couple of our guys. We will be televising tomorrow night. Jake Peavy goes to the mound against the Dodgers.
There you go.
That's a good cutter by Quintana, and it shows you how bad he can make a right-hander look when that cutter is in on his hands and he's ahead of the hitter.
So 4 strikeouts for Jose. Well, you summed it up perfectly earlier. Last year, he was just absolutely remarkable. His record of 6-6 is very, very misleading. He had some tough outings where he left with the lead.
Yeah.
Bullpen couldn't hold it. And the only time that he looked vulnerable was when he got tired at the end of the season.
Well, his control was almost perfect until then.
That's off the glove, so Crisp now makes the hard turn, but Diaza right there. And that will be a base hit.
Rock hard infield here in Arizona, giving you 2 higher than normal hops. During the regular season, that ball is played by Gordon. Here, not so much. And Crisp most likely will be trying to get a decent lead and test out his skills.
Sizemore. One out to right field. Takes ball 1.
Sizemore coming back from knee surgery. Missed all of last year. Really set him back. They believe that he can play, if not every day, certainly in a platoon system. but they've got 5 middle infielders for 2 spots, and Sizemore being one of them.
Yeah, but getting back to our division, this is going to be a tough division. Really tough. You got the defending American League champion Tigers. You got a much rejuvenated, much strengthened Kansas City Royal Club that was 12-6 against us last year.
Cleveland Indians look a whole lot better too.
They are better.
And that time Crisp took a false break. Base runners will do that to see what kind of lead they can get, and usually when they do that, the pitcher on the next pitch will try to go behind him, hoping that they stray a little.
One and two the count to Sizemore. Mike Gallego, longtime Oakland player, coach.
Give you an idea how things work out. Sizemore in 2009 was Detroit Tigers minor league player of the year. Everyone at that point said he's going to be their second baseman for a long time, but injuries, some lack of power, and a number of other factors have sent him over to Oakland, where he's still trying to establish himself.
There's a good strike.
Now, how many night games did you play during the time that you were at spring training?
Not many. Not many at all.
Did you find it a disadvantage going into the season?
No, that's the reason we didn't play many. You know, the lights, the fields, of course, are much better today than they were back in that time zone. As that's into right field. Meanwhile, Hang Wolfen, and that'll retire the side. So the first hit of the ball game goes for naught. We've completed 3, and it is still scoreless.
Join the White Sox Kids Club, presented by the University of Chicago Medicine Comer Children's Hospital.
These two guys have breezed through the first 3.
Well, right now, with the lights like they are, it's going to be very difficult for the hitters. And with the stuff that both of these pitchers have shown, it would be tough for the hitters anyway.
Well, as you said earlier, you love to pitch night games.
Oh, this was just great. I made the major leagues in this ballpark. Struck out 39 and 38 spring innings. That's how things has changed, because you don't see guys throwing 38 springtime innings anymore.
No. We had guys throwing anywhere from, you had to get in 30. Had 30 up to 40 innings.
Not anymore.
No. But again, these guys are coming into shape a little better than they were back in those days.
It's true. There's a place just up the road here in Mason, and I'm not sure if it's still around, but it was called the Buckhorn Springs. And for the Giant players, if they were out of shape, they would come 2 to 3 weeks early. That's a ground ball to short. Got him at first. So they go to Buckhorn Springs, and it was saunas and whirlpools and not much food, and they would just basically for 2 or 3 weeks sweat every pound off that they had to, and they'd go to then spring training. But you mentioned the problem before. Once you do that, your body losing that much weight that quickly, you came to spring training and you were already exhausted.
Oh yeah, when the season started, you were out of gas.
No Buckhorn Springs anymore. These guys are 12-month athletes, and they stay in great shape.
Curveball misses. Alexei struck out on the slider. Down and away. Yeah, spring training is an entirely different animal today. Right over the top. Rosales on that good arm of his. 2 down. And if you're just tuning in, we have not even sniffed a hit. 5 strikeouts. 3 2/3 for Parker. 4 strikeouts for our guy, Quintana, in 3 innings. Here's Alex. He also struck out. One of the woes of spring training back in the 60s and 70s is when you came to spring training, after about 2 days, you couldn't hardly walk up the steps of the motel. Your legs hurt so bad. There's a chopper. High throw, but he gets him. That is 12 in a row retired by Jared Parker. And a reminder, April 1st, it is White Sox opening day on Comcast Sportsnet. Chris Sale gets the start. Chris Sale gets the start as the White Sox make their return to the South Side against the Royals. CSN's exclusive coverage will kick off from the ballpark at 2. So don't miss White Sox Royals April 1st right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Royals have a couple of new pitchers, Wade Davis and James Big Game Shields, joining the rotation this year, giving hope to everybody in Kansas City that they will have a better season.
Reddick struck out his first trip. Check that.
Reddick is down, and Shane Peterson has taken his place.
Peterson in place of Josh Reddick, who struck out his only at bat. Cespedes on deck. Outfielder straight up, spread out. As we mentioned, 345 down the lines, 390 in the gaps, and 410 straight away center. As that is shanked left side.
Peterson came over from the Cardinals as part of the deal that sent Matt Holliday to St. Louis. And St. Louis certainly has enjoyed Holliday, and he's enjoyed a resurgence of his career in St. Louis.
He gone. 5 strikeouts now for Quintana.
Do you believe in protection behind you? Because right now this Oakland team doesn't have a lot of protection behind Cespedes if he's going to protect Reddick.
Yeah, you know, the ideal, as you know, how you having to pitch around certain circumstances like that.
Yeah, sure.
Is when you got protection, you can be protected from a guy in front of you. But as you mentioned, if nobody's going to hit behind Cespedes, then they got a problem.
Well, I don't see him seeing too many good pitches if they don't have anybody behind him that can put some fear into the pitcher's heart.
I don't either, just looking at their roster.
I mean, look, it's Chris Young tonight. Certainly in a key situation, you pitch around Cespedes because Young strikes out a whole lot. And Cespedes last year showed surprising plate discipline.
Well, I talked to a couple of guys about him, and they absolutely said he is the real deal. He's fun to watch run, too.
Well, if he didn't get hurt, last year he played 129 games. If he didn't get hurt, he'd have hit 30 or more home runs. He'd have driven in certainly 100 runs. And probably stolen anywhere from 20 to 25 bases.
Just got a piece of that one.
Speaking of getting hurt, the Washington Nationals dodged a bullet because in his start today, Steven Strasburg took a line drive off his pitching hand. Stayed in the game, continued to pitch, and apparently there will be no ill effects of it. But you can bet that there's a lot of folks down there, including their general manager Mike Rizzo, that were holding their breath.
That's an interesting situation they had last year at the end of the season. He gone. Yes.
I give Mike Rizzo all the credit in the world because he made a decision
too.
And all of that pressure on him, and everybody said they're going to the playoffs. You got no chance of winning without Strasburg. And he said we're shutting him down by a certain date, and shut him down he did.
I agree with him, and for basically the same reason. I don't think I would have done it, but he had the courage to make that decision, and as you mentioned, stay with it.
And also he had an ownership group that backed him on that, because the ownership group was probably saying, wait a second, we don't get to the playoffs too much. We got a chance to maybe win the World Series, and you're going to take our number one out. But he was looking long term to a guy that could be the staff ace for Lord knows how long.
Pitch just does miss to Young, who was called out on a 3-2 fastball. Well, there's not many owners that would have stayed with him in that decision.
Said, that's okay. Sure. Sit him down. No problem. We'll get him next year. Well, let's hope everybody's okay, because that was a rocket into the Sox dugout. Well, there's some smiles on the face of our guys down there, which means that everybody is okay. That one came whistling there. And you see Artie Kushner right in the front of your screen, one of the most delightful guys in all of baseball and one of the funniest men you've ever met in your life.
He might be as funny a man as you ever met when he's around ball players.
There's no doubt. There's Artie.
You let one stranger walk in the room and he just shuts it down.
Well,
you know, another guy like that was Mickey Mantle. He was one of the funniest guys you'll ever see until one person walked in the room and he didn't know, and there it goes. He just shut it down.
Artie was from one of the best academic schools in the country. A lot of people don't know that. He was from Kent State University. He was a catcher right before Thurman Munson got there.
One of these years they're going to open up a coach's wing at Cooperstown, and Art Kushner might be one of the first guys to go through it. So the second walk issued by Quintana. And it'll bring up Derek Norris. Norris, a strikeout victim.
I would venture to say that the Athletics don't have many sellouts, but this one tonight is just that. It is an overflow crowd.
Well, they're seeing some chunking going on.
A couple of guys throwing very well, especially Jared Parker, who has a perfect game through 4. And Quintana not that far behind him. There's a look at the youngster, former #1 pick from the Diamondbacks, came over in a trade. Turned out to be just an excellent trade for Oakland, because they also got Ryan Cook. And Cook last year, 6-2, a 2.09 ERA in 71 appearances. They tried him as a closer. He saved 14 games, but that wasn't his strength. Grant Balfour did that. But Cook has a tremendous arm. And both of these guys came in the same deal.
Well, there's one guy that's gone that I was happy to see leave.
Johnny Gomes.
Dallas Braden.
Well, he was really tough. I mean,
we had no chance. We couldn't hit him with a banjo.
Well, he had a great changeup, a great move to first. But I think maybe they might have gotten tired of the injuries, because when healthy, that guy could do it all, but he was having a hard time and starting to have a harder time staying healthy. One of the guys you're really going to like this year, you see a lot of them, is Sean Doolin. He's a converted infielder. He had a knee problem, knee surgery. Became a pitcher. And he is great out of that pen.
High into left field. Tank is there. Almost didn't get there. And it'll retire the side. We'll go the 5th still. No score on that board.
Sox fans, opening day is April 1st at 3:10 versus the Kansas City Royals. All fans will receive a 2013 White Sox magnetic schedule and rally towel presented by U.S. Cellular, the exclusive wireless provider of the Chicago White Sox. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Two good young pitchers out there, and they are doing their thing. Jared Parker and our guy Jose Quintana. Parker is perfect through 4. Go along with 5 strikeouts. So it'll be Gillespie, Canero, and Viciedo.
Oakland is getting Brett Anderson back. He's a guy who last year threw in only 6 games. When he's healthy, he's probably a good, solid number 2 starter. We've seen him, and he is a very tough customer, but he was hurt almost all of last year.
There's first pitch strike. Gillespie popped up to Coco Crisp in center field.
Gillespie's been a very pleasant surprise this spring.
All the coaches, everybody I've talked to, some of the other players, they all really like him. Good, short, quick stroke. Checks it up. Good eye.
Well, Parker hasn't been behind too often. So Gillespie in pretty good shape at 2-1. A pitcher with confidence in that straight change would throw one here.
And it misses.
A minimum of pitches so far for Parker. This is just pitch number 51, and we're in the 5th inning.
Well, as Coop was talking about that, he had to send Chris Sale down for 20-25 more. There is our first base runner. And here's Polly.
And I can understand the philosophy, making the second to last start the workhorse start, then pulling back some and getting guys ready to go. So when they do get up north and the bell rings, these guys are going to be strong enough to go, each and every one of them, deep into the game.
Well, that's the culture of the day's spring training. I can remember Jim Bunning, his second start in spring training, he went 9. He was the first guy in Major League Baseball every spring to go 9 innings.
And that's not going to happen too much. Or, well, actually, it won't happen ever. In fact, there's a lot of teams won't allow anybody to go 9 all spring regardless of how advanced they are.
Checks it up. He did not go. Well, we've seen some things in 05. We saw something we'll probably never see again either. In postseason play, we saw 4 consecutive complete games. And only because of 5 pitches, it would have been 5 consecutive complete games.
No, I don't think you're going to see that anytime soon.
Polly chops it foul over by our dugout. Polly came in hitting at .367, 5 homers, 10 knocked in. Curveball. Well, he's got a good one.
He does that, and he's got a good hard slider. Paul did a nice job of staying back so he could watch that one dip low. A lot of young hitters are out on that pitch. They go out, they try to get it, and it just dives down out of the zone.
You're sitting beside one.
But if you got a fastball middle in, you didn't miss that too often.
Well, you know, you just said he's got that good overhand curveball, a good slider. You don't see many right-handers with those 2 pitches in the same outing. Paulie with a full count.
And we'll see if Robin wants to get the running game started to try to stay out of the double play.
Short lead. Long set. He does not go, and that's ball 4. So after being perfect through 4, he walks the first 2 hitters. You're in the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up Tank, who grounded out to second.
Norris out to the mound. For the most part, he's telling him to settle down, but also they're going over their set of signs with a man at second base for the first time. There is the distribution of the 57 pitches. You look fastball here on first pitch after 2 walks?
Boy, I would. Is there any other pitch?
Well, if you did, you do just like that.
No. I might have been absolutely sitting on my behind, even though that ball wasn't breaking balls away.
Well, we got the center field camera back, which is just delightful.
And he takes that fastball very quickly to count 0-2. That old saying, Stevie, and you've heard it a lot. Don't look for something you can't handle. There's a little ground ball. There you go to second base. No return. So runners at the corners and 1 out.
Not a very good throw by Brandon Moss. And Nakajima did a nice job of making sure it didn't wind up in left field. But it does take the double play out of the equation. Nakajima is fairly lucky on that play that Paulie doesn't run well, because when you put that leg in front of the bag, if you got a fast base runner, he's just going to tear you up.
Here's Jimenez. Hector now 12 for 29 on the spring with 6 RBIs. Got a pitch and fouls it away. Struck out his first trip leading off the 3rd. Yeah, Nakajima, he might learn in a hurry that's not the way you do things over here.
No, just as the Japanese ball player from Minnesota last year was torn up at second base by Swisher, and then didn't want to play second base anymore.
Another fastball. Good pitch, good location, pops him up. Steve told you earlier, once that ball gets above these lights, guys are having a lot of trouble picking it up.
This is normally a routine play, but with the lights as bad as they are here, routine plays turn into adventures, and Rosales is very lucky that that one actually stuck in the glove, because it was coming out before he was able to corral it.
That'll bring up Tyler. Struck out swinging on a good curveball.
Norris has done a nice job behind the plate of blocking everything, but if you're on third base, as Gillespie is, you got to come down with the pitch. O.P. buries one of those breaking balls like the one he's going to throw right now in the dirt.
Throws it for a strike. You always talk about Rick Dempsey. What a joy he was to throw to when you were in Baltimore.
That's any catcher. Well, in his case, he came out to me when I first got to the club and said, you got a runner at third. I know you throw a lot of curveballs. Throw it as hard as you want in the dirt. You cannot throw the ball by me in the dirt. The only way it's getting by me is throwing it over my head. And that way you don't hang the pitch, because if you're worried about a slider or a curveball in dirt getting by your catcher, you can't throw a good one with a man at third base, because it's in the back of your mind. And Rick Dempsey was one of the best there was at smothering everything down. And there's a very good play by Derek Norris, who shows you why he's rated as high as he is defensively.
Well, Rick Dempsey, to me, was one of the best catchers that I've seen in my whole career. And he was smart.
Great arm, quick release. And
called
tough,
a heck of a ball game.
Tough as nails.
Yeah.
He played 24 years, and it wasn't for that big bat.
There's a shank, and that's going to be a base hit. So Tank moves into third, and Sox, he may have got kicked. Hopefully he just got the helmet. Sox lead at 1-0.
Well, Tyler doesn't get a whole lot of it, but it's a fastball, inside-out swing, just barely gets it by Sizemore. And this is going to be one of the big problems for Oakland this year, and that's lack of range in the infield, especially if it's Nakajima and Sizemore. Now, Jamal Weeks, who we saw, had just a horrible year offensively last year, but he does give you a little more range at second, and he's in the mix for one of the infield jobs.
Well, Jamal Weeks got a chance to be a heck of a player. Here's Gordon. And that's by him for a base hit. So Tanks will score. And it's 2-0. Beckham picking up his 10th RBI of the spring.
And
Sully's happy.
Both of those walks scoring. Gordon does a nice job. Inside out swing on a high fastball. So for a guy that was absolutely untouchable for 4, 2 leadoff walks have come back to haunt him. That sends Kurt Young out to the mound to have a word with Parker. He's gotten hurt on fastballs.
See where Gordon's bat's laid off right there instead of straight up and down in that vertical position that he's been hitting from. He and Jeff Mano have made some big strides.
Will that help him catch up to that pitch?
Yes, because you see when he went into his motion, the bat became vertical. Last year and the year before when he had it vertical and went into his motion, it became almost pointing at the pitcher. And you know how many pop-ups he hit.
Lots.
Meanwhile, some damage is done. Sox very opportunistic, take advantage of the 2 leadoff walks, and we're halfway home leading 2-0.
Join the White Sox Kids Club presented by the University of Chicago Medicine Comer Children's Hospital. We're teaming up to promote a healthy lifestyle and combat childhood obesity. Members will receive free White Sox tickets and cool exclusive Kids Club items. Visit WhiteSox.com to join the club today.
Get ourselves a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. You're just tuning in. Quintana through the first 4 has given up 1 hit, a couple of walks, has 6 strikeouts. It'll bring up Brandon Moss to lead it off for the A's. Moss, Nakajima, and Rosales. Rosales. First pitch strike.
Julie Davis, a hitting instructor, got a hold of Brandon Moss and told him, forget about hitting to all fields. Pull the ball. That's what you do best. And in doing so, he made a pretty powerful guy out of it. Because before that, trying to use all the fields, he didn't do much. Last year, 21 home runs.
There you go. Well, you know yourself. First rule in baseball. You know a guy can do a few things. Find out what he can't do, and then don't ask him to do it.
And as an all-field hitter, you were taking away what he does best. He's got some big power, and he's hitting in a ballpark in Oakland where not so bad for a left-hander. You know, if you're a right center field hitter there, you got some problems, except if you're Cespedes.
Well, Harris and I were just at a park last year that he could hit them out of.
Which one, Yosemite?
Grand Canyon.
He could do that.
Nakajima grounded out to his counterpart, Alexei. Yeah, you can't. There's some things that you just can't do. And I'm so happy to see that he gone. Big, slow swing right there. But I'm so happy to see that you get more and more hitting coaches, which is the toughest uniform job in baseball. Because you got 13 guys that you got to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a good friend, and you can't handle 13 guys when they're going bad.
Well, you've also said that you feel that 2 hitting coaches is ideal because a contact hitter and a power hitter are just like a pitcher and a hitter. They're that much different.
No question. They're 2 different approaches. They're not even similar. Now, you always have exceptions to the rule in any sport, and especially in this game. And Frank Thomas was an exception to the rule because all he was a 6'5", 270-pound line drive hitter whose line drives went out of the ballpark. You don't find guys that strong. And Frank Thomas is one of the best 3 hitters come in the American League, and the last right-handed hitters in the last 50 years. But the hitting coaches today, and Jeff Mano has done such a good adjustment here, and with some of our guys. It's not the mechanics; it's the approach. It's the approach. You got to figure out who you're facing, what his stuff is. You got, as you've talked about the video, these guys can go in there and see any at bat they've had against this guy forever, and you go from there.
And he gets guys out early, and then I think rather than have them thinking about anything from a mechanical standpoint, once the game starts, you want to put all of that out of your mind and just go and let what you've learned before take over, because otherwise you're done. You're thinking about your hands, you're thinking about your legs, you're thinking about keeping the weight back, whatever, you're done.
That's 0 for 4 thinking. That ball into left field. Tank is there, and that is a nice 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the 6th, leading 2-0.
We got a 2-0 lead here in the top of the 6th inning. And, Steve, this is not what you call your typical spring training pitch game.
No, certainly the pitching has been dominant, but last inning we got to Jared Parker. But Jose Quintana has been just outstanding. He's established the inside part of the plate to the right-handers as far as his changeup is concerned and his fastball. This guy's doing just about everything right.
Well, he's throwing the ball exactly like he did when he first came up last year. Alexei can't get it. Alexei has struck out and grounded to third. And there's a solid base hit into left field. Attaboy, Alexei. And here's Alex.
It wasn't exactly a breakout season for Rios. It was a great year for him. It harkened back to the two-time All-Star that we got from Toronto. I mean, it was one of those years that Rios had routinely with the Blue Jays.
You know, you were touching on the thought process last thing of pitchers and hitters. And you've been out there. You won Cy Young Award. You weren't thinking about too much about mechanics when you're out there winning all those, 26 ball games?
No, well, I wish I would have won that last one. It was just 25.
25.
But you're right about that, because you start rolling and all you're thinking about, you're looking at the catcher's glove, you know what you want to do, and it becomes not mechanical exactly. It just becomes something you know you're going to do. And when you know you're going to do it, the game seems easy. We know how difficult the game is, but it seems a whole lot easier when you're rolling along.
This should be, takes that little bowling book bounce. Quickly 2 out. Well, I have come up with a philosophy in my career in baseball, in my life, about this, and it's very similar to golf. That's why golf and baseball is so similar. You better let your thoughts dictate your mechanics rather than your mechanics dictate your thoughts. You got to stay in front of the plate as a hitter. If your thoughts are from the plate back, you're in trouble. In golf, if your thoughts are from the ball back, you're in trouble, because that means you're thinking mechanics. Mechanics are a killer.
Well, there's a time for them, and that time
Sure
is in spring training. It's before the game. It's extra hitting. It's, you worry about your hands. You worry about sometimes hitters get too long a stride. Sometimes they get too long a swing. It can happen, with everything. Same thing with a pitcher. Sometimes you're not getting on top of the ball. That's fine. But when you go out there during the game, you have to let muscle memory take over. Trust that you've done it thousands and thousands of times before, and you're just going to do it again.
Well, I'm just so happy that clubs are now starting to see and understand that you do need 2 hitting coaches. And we have 2 right now. Other clubs have got 2. And the approach is the thing. As Gillespie takes that pitch inside, and the count 2-1. There's a ground ball right side. Moss has got it over to Parker, and that'll return to the side. So a leadoff single, sharp single by Alexei, goes for naught.
Starting with opening day on April 1st, Bacardi at the Park will open 4 hours before the start of the 2013 home games with half-price appetizers and raffles after every game. Be sure to stop by Bacardi at the Park at U.S. Cellular Field's Gate 5 Plaza. Come to Gate 5 to join us for Bacardi at the Park. We've got Brandon Short in right field. He's taking over. And Dwayne Wise comes into the game to play center field.
Coco Crisp will lead it off. He has walked and he has singled. He has the only hit by the Athletics off Jose Quintana. Got a good pitch hit right there and fouls it off. And if you're just tuning in, did not hear, Jesse Crane will work an inning tomorrow in a minor league game. And they're hoping to get him an inning every other day and then one in Milwaukee.
And a lot of fans would probably want to know why, if he's healthy enough to pitch, why it would be in a minor league game as opposed to a major league game. I think it's very much a matter of adrenaline. You want him to go out there and get an inning, a relaxed inning, so he doesn't try to extend himself, getting out major league hitters. You might want him to work on something, or you want him to do something that he would have to do in a major league game. So that's why they put him in a minor league game. Get him to get his inning in. That's all they want to see. Don Cooper told us, if you weren't with us in the third inning, that if he can get 3 innings in, one every other day, he feels he probably will be ready to start the season. And we'll see if he can physically do that.
There's a chopper. Got him. Good play by Gillespie.
And a good play on the other end by Paulie at first. He dug it out of the dirt. Fans in the stands thought that Chris beat it. And I can see why they might.
Paulie can pick it.
That's a tough pick on the long hop.
That was a tough pick right
the
there.
short hops are easy.
Yeah.
The long hops are tough.
Scott Sizemore takes first pitch strike. He has gone out to right field twice, once a fly ball, once a line drive. You know, you're talking about your summation on why Jesse's going to pitch in that, because of the adrenaline factor. Then you got guys like Mark Burley, when he would go over to work out and pitch 2 or 3 innings, he couldn't get anybody out.
Well, you can't set up minor league hitters. They don't know what you're trying to do with them. So, you know, you might set them up for a cutter inside after 5 pitches away, and next thing you know, the guy's looking for something inside and hits it out of the park. Years ago down here, they gave me one of those outings. They said, just go out, get your work in, and we're going to pitch you against Arizona State. So in the first inning, I got Bump Wills out twice. He was their #1 hitter who later went on to play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
I would still be there. They scored 10 runs against me.
Yeah.
And got Bump out twice and thanked him when he got to the major leagues. But those college kids, it was just everything I threw, it looked like the catcher was telling him what was coming. It was sad.
And the same thing holds true for a lot of hitters, major league hitters. They don't want to get any at-bats in a minor league game. They'd much rather hit against major league pitching because they're going to throw strikes.
They're a little concerned about the control of some of these hard-throwing kids who would like to make a name by getting out a major leaguer.
So he loses him. That's the third walk issued by Jose. And here's Shane Peterson. He's been to the plate one time. That was for Reddick, leading off the fourth inning and struck out.
Getting to the point now where at 90 pitches, this is most likely going to be the last inning.
Takes ball one.
Could very well be that this particular walk to the mound might be Jimenez's way to just settle him down, tell him just go back to throwing strikes. You're going to get all your work in anyway. And of course the bullpen just waiting for the call just in case Jose has some problems. And right now you can see him starting to get tired, because as you do tire, you get the ball up a little higher, and he hasn't had the pitches up high tonight at all.
Yeah, and that first slider he threw him was just roller.
Yeah.
Guy was talking to me, asking me today about Earl Weaver, and I told him, I said, he is right where he should be, in Cooperstown. He was a great manager, and he read pitchers and situations as good as any manager. And he's one of the few managers, as we've discussed in the past, that all you had to do is take a good swing off a pitch and foul it back, and he's liable to go out there and get somebody else in there because you were all over it.
He did. Took me out of a ball game after a long foul that was well fouled down the left field line. And he came out, and he didn't point to the bullpen. He just came out and he goes, "Okay, that's it." I said, "It was a foul ball." He said, "Yeah, but the next one won't be." And there I went, back in the dugout.
He could not check it up.
In a two-run game, although this is spring training, this becomes one of the key outs of the game because you've got Cespedes up next. So you have to retire Peterson here. You don't want Cespedes coming up as their really bona fide power hitter representing the go-ahead run. There's a look at the second-year player who burst on the scene and showed everybody a whole lot last year.
He gone. 2 down.
Strikeout number 9 for Jose, and he's had terrific stuff tonight. Last 2 pitches, very good location. He's handled Cespedes pretty well the first 2 times up, cutting one in on his hands the first time up, throwing a fastball right by him middle out the second time. Let's see what he's got for him here the third time up.
And somebody else has done his job tonight too, is Hector Jimenez behind the plate. He's called a beautiful game.
Well, for the first time tonight, the bullpen is up and going. You would think knocking at the door of 100 pitches, if he doesn't get Cespedes, Quintana might not be around to face Young.
There's a bullet down into the corner. So Sizemore is being waved around. They got a shot, but no throw. And it's a 2-1 ball game.
And I'm wondering if Connor Gillespie, and we won't know that, let Beckham know that he probably was going to throw out Sizemore if he turned the ball loose. He's the second cutoff man. So he's the guy behind Ramirez.
And here comes Robin. Yeah, with Gordon's arm, he's going to nail him. He had plenty of time to get him. But what a job by Jose Quintana. A beautifully pitched ball game.
So as Robin goes out there, the night is done for Jose Quintana, who did a terrific job. And we'll step out and be back after these messages. What a night for Jose Quintana, going 5 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 run so far on a couple of hits. He walked 3, he fanned 9. And he established the fact that he could throw his fastball up and out of the zone when he was ahead. He threw his cutter inside. Left-handers could do nothing with him. Both hits by right-hand hitters, and he leaves with the lead in favor of Ramon Troncoso, who's had a very good spring. In fact, battling probably with Amogroso if, in fact, Crane is not ready to go when the bell rings. So this is a big outing for Troncoso.
Yeah, when you get 2 guys battling for a spot, every pitch is a big pitch. And here's Chris Young. Tying run at second. In Cespedes. Troncoso 6'2", 215, 30 years old, out of the Dominican. One and one to count. I was watching the World Baseball Classic and I saw a stat that I didn't really realize, that the Dominican Republic has almost twice as many players who have played in the big leagues as the number 2 country. And guess who the second country was?
Venezuela.
They were third.
China.
Canada.
Wow.
They were second. I didn't realize that.
No, but there's been some just great players to come out of there. And obviously, Larry Walker comes to mind as that ball gets away. Fastball inside, and that's one of the few we've seen get by Jimenez tonight.
Yeah, it was Dominican Republic. Almost 600 players have played in the big leagues. Canada's had almost 300. Venezuela was second with, I don't know, 250 or so. And then Puerto Rico was last. Now that tying run on at third. Breaking ball.
This is where you just as soon not throw a hittable fastball to Young. Because he had 32 home runs back in 2007. the majority, the overwhelming majority on fastballs, especially middle in.
That was a get me over for ball 4. Glad that one stayed up high as it was. Straight to get me over breaking pitches have a tendency to go a long way, especially in that situation. If you're going to throw a 3-2, throw your best one.
Well, we've had 3 runs scored tonight, and they've all been courtesy of the walk. Parker walking the first 2 hitters in the 5th inning cost him 2 runs. Quintana 1 walk here in the 6th, and that was the only Oakland run to this point.
So here's a catcher, Derek Norris. Takes first pitch strike. He has struck out and popped up. He just missed one to left field. And that's the pick by Jimenez.
Well, for the Oakland fans, this game is going to be a microcosm of what they're going to see most of this year. They don't have a whole lot of offense, although they improved drastically hitting the ball out of the ballpark from 2 years ago to last year. So they do have a little more power, but they play a lot of close games because they don't score a lot of runs, and they have very good pitching.
And we got ourselves a tie ball game.
That fastball middle in, Troncoso got it up, and Norris, pretty decent mistake hitter, especially on the fastball, drove it right by Gillespie at third.
First baseman Brandon Moss has popped to short and struck out. Two on, 2 out, 2 in. It was 2-2 tie.
Santiago loosening in the pen.
Bobby Thigpen, the new bullpen coach. Juan Nieves is the pitching coach now with the Red Sox.
I'm happy for Juan. It's a great job for him, and he deserved it. He's a terrific guy, a very knowledgeable guy, and he'll do well there.
Yeah, I called him the night I heard that he got the job, and boy, I'll tell you, he was just on cloud 9.
And from our standpoint, you could hardly have a better bullpen coach than Bobby Thigpen.
He's been there, he's done it. Did not check it out. Bobby was one of those relievers that, out of the norm of the closer, especially since he set the American League record for saves and stayed there for a long time. Bobby didn't have your Mariano Rivera or Dennis Eckersley stuff, guys like that, you know, Goose Gossage. He'd go out there and he had stones, and he'd go out there sometimes with nothing. He'd scare you to death, load the bases up, but he'd get out. Oh, you got a hanger, right? You got a cookie. And then when he did have his good stuff, then it was just all over.
Well, that's what it takes for most relievers, whether it's a setup man or a closer. There's an attitude that you're not going to beat me. It doesn't matter what I have today, but I'm better than you are. And every great reliever has that in it. Because those outs are tough to come by. Everybody believes that that setup man can be a closer. That certainly is not the case. It's the rare guy gets outs 25, 6, and 7. They're completely different. And if it wasn't that difficult, and I put the benchmark at 85% effective rate for closers, call them lockdown closers, there's only at any given time in the world 10 of those guys. That's it. If it was that easy, there'd be a whole lot more of them.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And sometimes you're hard-pressed to find 10 of them.
I don't think you can find 10 right now.
Right now? No, I mean, Mariano was one who every year was certainly 10% of that, and now you just don't know.
Right.
He's already announced this is going to be the last year that he's going to play. He wants to finish it with a flourish.
Another nice stop by Hector. Well, as Steve said, this is a huge outing for Troncoso. Troncoso and Omagroso battling for that spot. There's a get me over breaking ball, base hit. And the A's take a 3-2 lead. What's the location of this 3-2 breaking ball?
That looked like either a backup slider or a very bad changeup. They both wind up the same place, a base hit. And that puts Oakland on top for the first time tonight. Not a very good outing for Ramon Troncoso.
Here's Nakajima. He's grounded to short and struck out. Oh, and 1 the count for the 30-year-old shortstop. Nothing in 2. Just right off the end of the bat. Three runs on 4 hits for the A's. 2 runs on 3 hits for our Sox.
Looks like a high fastball here called by Jimenez.
Ball gets away, and it's 4-2.
Well, that'll go as a pass ball, but Jimenez was looking for a fastball up. You could look at the signs and see that he wanted that fastball eye high. You see where the glove is? He got the ball down, got by him. The cost, the 4th run of the game.
So a lot of errant pitches thrown by Ramon. That's popped up right side. Paulie makes the play, but some damage is done. They come up with that crooked number 4 spot, and they lead it 4-2.
Reminder Monday, the Blackhawks are back on home ice against last year's champs. Blackhawks will be rested and ready for a rematch with the Kings, so don't miss Blackhawks Kings Monday night at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
It looks like Chris Risa will come into the game to protect a 4-2 lead. Parker threw the ball very well in his 6 innings of work. There's a look at Risa. Parker gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, both coming courtesy of a couple of walks to lead off the 5th inning. Had a rebound inning in the 6th, and he leaves as the pitcher of record for Oakland.
So for our guys here in the top of the 7th, it'll be Canero, Viciedo, and Jimenez. Paulie has popped up to right and walked. So Jared Parker, 6 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. But as Steve mentioned, threw the ball extremely well. Outfield straight up, that equidistant.
Winning 13 as a rookie is not an easy feat, especially when you don't have a lot of offense, and that's exactly what Parker did last year.
Breaking ball misses. Risa, 30 years old, 6'3", 225 pounds, out of Naples, Florida. That ball hit hard. Stretch. Back at the wall. It's off the wall, so Paulie on his way to second base, and he will get there with a leadoff double.
So Risa, who started his career as an outfielder, signed with the Florida Marlins, converted to pitcher. Paulie likes low fastballs, and he drilled one off the wall. Well, promising start to the 7th.
Viciedo twice has grounded out, once into a fielder's choice, and he also has scored. Ball trying to chase him down. 1-1 the count.
Risa with the Pirates last year, appeared in 61 games, so he's pretty durable. Had an ERA below 4, which is not bad.
He got his pitch and pops it up. That'll stay in play, and that's out number 1. According to their roster, that was Luke Montz, who's a catcher playing first base in place of Brandon Moss.
So here's Jimenez. Hector is struck out and fouled out to third. Takes first pitch strike. And once again, a reminder, April 1st, right around the corner. Opening day. At home against the Kansas City Royals in that game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Kansas City for 3 and Seattle for 3 on that 6-gamer. And it's off to Washington for 3, Cleveland for 3, and Toronto for 4. Blue Jays, a different looking ball club this season.
That's going to be a tough road trip. Because there's a very good chance that we're going to see one or both of either Strasburg or Gonzalez in that series. And Washington, one of the best teams in the National League. A lot of people picked them to go to the World Series this year. So that's the way it's going to start off on the road. Cleveland is an improved group, especially from the offensive side. The guys they have in the middle, I mean, you've got to love Cabrera and Kipnis for the Indians. They did, however, trade a guy that I know we both like, Shin-Soo Choo. They got Stubbs back from Cincinnati, give him a lot more speed, but Choo was and could be a dominant player. I think he's going to have a big year in Cincinnati.
Well, we're both glad, as much as we liked him, we're glad to see him gone.
Absolutely.
Tyler, 1 for 2, an RBI single. But maybe the most revamped ball club this year, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, they were revamped by the Florida Marlins, who were kind enough to give them all of the salary and all of the players that they used to rebuild that brand new stadium. And now the Marlins are back to where they started, back to the drawing board.
Hits him on the fist, pops him up, and that'll retire the side. 7th inning stretch. We trail it 4-2.
Organize a group outing of 20 or more for Sox games during the 2013 season and receive savings off an individual game ticket price. Enhance your outing by upgrading to our new Miller Lite Bullpen Party Porch, pregame patio party, Diamond Suite, or one of our other great party areas. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com to book your group outing today. Jim Gallagher taking over in left field. Hector Santiago on the hill.
And we trail it 4-2 here in the bottom of the 7th, and you just read something about the Bertucci boys.
Yes, sir. Saw Bobby down here last week, looking tan, rested, healthy.
He should have been in the movies. Well, maybe not.
Or that series on HBO that they don't do anymore.
That's cold. That's in the right field by Rosales. So here's Luke Montz. Making his first plate appearance. First pitch strike by Santiago. If you're just tuning in, Jose Quintana was just really good. Got a little tired there in the 6th inning. He went 5 2/3, giving up 2 runs, just 2 hits, 3 walks, had 9 strikeouts. When he exited, we led it 2-1, and they scored 3 more. And that pitch up high. 1-2, the count. Gap out there in left center. And once again, a reminder that we will have tomorrow night's game. There's a Scroogie. He gone. 2 down. That'll be against the Dodgers, and Jake Peavy on the bump for us.
And talking with Don Cooper earlier, if you didn't see it, he said that he wants Jake to go about 105 pitches tomorrow night. So, Jake, if he's at his best, that could easily take him through the 7th inning into the 8th.
So here's Scott Sizemore. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Takes first pitch strike. In fact, except for the 25th, we'll have every game left for you right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Here in Arizona, of course, there will be 2 exhibition games in Milwaukee.
Persay and Gray loosening up in the Sox pen.
That's poked out into right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. And that'll bring up Shane Peterson. Shane's been to the plate twice and struck out both times. Takes first pitch strike. Also, if you didn't hear, Jesse Crane's going to work an inning tomorrow in a minor league game. And there's strike 2. Tell you, one of the guys we have not talked about who's just been absolutely swinging at bats been Jordan Danks. Boy, he's been hitting some rockets.
Boy, about the last week and a half after a slow start to spring training, he's hitting everything in sight.
He gone. He knew it. And it'll retire the side. We're into the 8th. We trail it by 2.
7 days of Cactus League action continues right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in for a battle in Glendale as our Sox battle the Dodgers. They duke it out on their shared spring training turf. White Sox Dodgers tomorrow night at 9 right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Pedro Figueroa comes into the ball game. He'll be trying to protect the 2-run lead. There's a look at Pedro. We won't see it now, but this Oakland bullpen, toward the back end especially, is going to be one of the best around. Now, their closer, Grant Balfour, probably will not be ready when the season starts. But they've got some other arms out there that are just great. Pat Neshek, we remember from Minnesota. We told you about Sean Doolittle and Ryan Cook, Jerry Blevins, Travis Blackley, a couple of very good left-handers. So these guys are pretty strong in the back end of the pen.
Beckham, good swing, just underneath it. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI single. We were just talking about Jordan Danks. All he is doing is hitting .351, a couple of homers, 9 RBIs, 3 doubles. And no duck snorts. Rockets.
No, he's been swinging it well. And all of you who have seen him play realize that he's as good, if not the best, defensive outfielder we have.
Close pitch, didn't get it. Start us off right here, Gordon. Let's get 3 or 4. Another good pass at it. For this action that Gordon's got working for him right now, he's going to be getting to more pitches that are letter high than he has since he's been in a Sox uniform.
In our ballpark, when it heats up, if you can get the letter high pitches, that translates into a lot of home runs.
You see a sellout crowd here, 7,363. And there's a base hit into right field. So once again, Sully, Grace, and Gwynn are happy. They'll bring up Dwayne Wise. Yeah, 0 for 3 tonight.
It always has been an art to hit off the bench. Now Dwayne realizes what his role is going to be. And as a lot of very learned baseball men have told me, the only way you can excel at that particular role is to accept the role. And Dwayne long ago has accepted the fact that he's not going to be a starter. He'll fill in and he will start, especially if you have an injury, and he'll do it well. But his contributions are going to come off the bench.
He's hitting .286 on the spring with 3 homers and 6 ribbies.
Mike Gellinger on the right. Paul Canero explaining to him how he hit that ball off the wall last inning.
1 down here in the top of the 8th. And here's Alexei. Alexei is 1 for 3. He had a sharp single into left field.
Well, as we stand right now, I like our ball club. We got a nice club. Maybe the best defensive team, certainly in our division. And that bodes well for our pitchers. As you touched on earlier, there's a little flare into right field. A diving effort, can't make the catch, so the single.
Peterson made a good effort, but he overdove.
Overshot it.
Actually dove by the ball. It hit the heel of the glove. Arms are too long.
So here's short. Brandon making his first plate appearance. One out, two on. Played minor league baseball with a young guy. Can't come up with his name right now. Made that same kind of effort. Ball hit him in the wrist. It broke his wrist, and that was, that was it for him.
That was it?
Yeah. Little chopper. And everybody safe. Sox packed with Sox.
Well, your first reaction as a first baseman is to go and get the baseball. The problem is when you do that, nobody can get to first. So it's hit in a perfect spot. Figueroa can't possibly get to first in time, being a left-hander who falls off the mound to the third base side. And so with the bases loaded and a chance to eat into that lead, Figueroa in some problems.
And here's Connor Gillespie. He was our first base runner with that leadoff walk in the fifth inning, and he came around to score. First pitch strike.
Nice stop once again. That ball could have easily gotten by. Gillespie's shown some pretty good power here this spring. 10 runs driven in and a couple of homers. That's David Fraze behind the plate.
Checks it up. He did not go. And that's popped up. Playable. And no advance. So 2 down.
Whitaker made a pretty solid throw. At first he couldn't locate the baseball. Finally did. And Gordon wanted to induce the throw. Maybe it would get away or short hop Fraze, but didn't do either.
And that'll bring up Canero. Paulie has popped to right, walked, and then hit a double deep into left center field. Taking all the way, and that's strike one. Paulie came in hitting at 367, 5 homers, 10 RBIs on the spring. Good movement right there, and he is deep in that hole, 0-2.
Got ahead with a good fastball. That ball out of the zone, but a tailing fastball away to a right-hand hitter when you're ahead of the hitter is always a good pitch.
Almost got away. Come on, Paulie. Paulie trying to take him into right center field. Always a nice approach. The right-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher, especially when he has that good tailing movement.
Well, in our first game, you talked about the fact that the maturation of Paulie as a hitter is exhibited a lot of times by fouling off pitches that he's not going to be able to put in play. He just fouls them off, trying to wait to get one that he can put in play.
He has literally become a master at that.
That's not easy to do.
Oh. And he got a big good pitch to hit. And this ball game is going to be tied at 4 on the clutch. Bases loaded, 2-out single by Canero. Yes.
Well, there's the advantage of being able to stay alive on a pitcher's pitch, waiting for the pitcher to get a little too much of the plate, and Paulie taking it right back up the middle and tying the ball game at 4.
So here's Gallagher.
Andy Wilkins is pinch running at first base. So Paul's night is done, and another good night it was. 2 for 3 with a ringing double to lead off the 7th inning. Nothing came of that, but the tying base hit here, driving in a pair. So a very strong spring for Paul Canero, and you would expect nothing less now that he has a healthy wrist.
Runner at first, Wilkins got a chance to be a good hitter. Had an injury-plagued season last year. And that pitch inside. Good eye.
The most unorthodox, most unusual motion of Pat Neshek in the bullpen now for Oakland.
Two on, 2 out, and a 3-2 pitch. Takes him right to the bag. Now the peg, and that'll do it. But Paul Canero once again comes through with a 2-out, bases loaded single to tie this game at 4.
Book your outing of 20 to 56 people in our new Miller Lite Bullpen Party Porch. Catered package includes food and beverages for 3 hours. Enjoy this all-inclusive area with some of the best seats in the house from our renowned tables in the Miller Lite Bullpen Sports Bar. Visit your party porch today by calling 312-674-1000 or visiting whitesox.com.
Oh, nice timing leap by Gillespie to make a beautiful catch for out number 1.
Off the end of the bat. Would have been a double. And as you can see, Ben May, the umpire down there, points into fair territory. So fine play by Connor Gillespie.
So here's Chris Young. He's 0 for 1 with a couple of walks and a run scored. Andy Wilkins remains in the ball game at first. I mentioned. And Brian Anderson behind the plate. Wilkins last year, though, with that bad shoulder, still cranked out 17 homers and drove in 69.
How many games?
116, but he was hurt. He played a lot of those games hurt. Finished up very strong.
Those are respectable numbers.
In that ballpark?
Yeah.
That's not a home run hitting ballpark. Screwball got him. 2 down.
That screwball is particularly effective if you can stay ahead of the hitter. Because to the hitter's eye, it starts out a strike. And Young hasn't seen that screwball very much, if at all. Not a lot of pitchers throw it anymore. Great location when you're ahead of the hitter.
Very seldom ever see a right-hander anymore throwing it.
Nope.
One of the first guys to make that screwball well known was a Yankee reliever named Luis Arroyo. Then a lot of guys started throwing it because of the success he had.
Mike Marshall threw it exceptionally well for the Dodgers.
Mike had one of the best for the right-hander. Eric Sogard, the hitter. He just whistled that one right on by him.
Sogard's a pretty decent player, a very good backup. He can play a lot of different positions, having, as you can see, a great spring. But he certainly is their insurance policy at shortstop.
I like this kid.
Yes.
The more we've seen it. Bites that one off, fouls it away. Sogard hitting in Norris's spot where Derek was 1 for 3. Had a big RBI single back in the 6th inning when the A's scored all 4 of their runs. Flips a breaking ball up there. 2-2. Good eye. Full count.
Santiago has a good enough fastball to overmatch a lot of the left-hand hitters, but what a left-hander takes away from him is that screwball. Very rarely will you see a left-hander that can hit the outside corner to a left-hand hitter with a screwball.
In fact, there were a lot of managers in years past that would find a guy, a left-hander with a screwball, who threw it to a left-hand hitter. It was a cardinal sin.
Well, I think the release point is so different because you don't see any room between the hitter and the plate, and the best screwball is the one that dives low and away. I think a lot of guys are afraid they're going to hit the left-hand hitter with the same pitch they get out the right-hand.
Got him. They caught a break right there. Meanwhile, 1-2-3, we're into the ninth, tied at 4.
Park for our all-new Family Sundays, presented by the University of Chicago Medicine, Comer Children's Hospital. Tickets start as low as $5 and parking is just $10. Kids' activities include pre-game player autographs and running the bases post-game. The White Sox and Comer Children's Hospital teaming up to promote a healthy lifestyle and to combat childhood obesity. Purchase your tickets now by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. So Pat Neshek comes into a tie game. That's what he's done this spring. You might remember him from the Minnesota Twins. He got hurt. Now he finds himself with Oakland.
So here's Anderson making his first plate appearance. And that ball is caught by Chris Young. Check this.
That is old number 81. Which is really good if you have him on the roster, which we don't.
Which he's not. Here's Tyler. Tyler 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Took something off that breaking pitch, had him way off balance. Well, for you youngsters out there, if you aspire to be a major league pitcher and you don't throw hard, you got to have some deception.
Or a knuckleball.
That's coming back into vogue with some of the organizations starting to take guys. And you and I have talked about it how many times over the last. Still amazes me that they don't take the guys in the gray area who probably are not going to reach the major leagues and have nothing but a knuckleball count.
And to do that, obviously, you have to have a former pitcher, because a knuckleball is thrown completely different than any other pitch. You have to have a former knuckleballer teaching your youngsters how to release it.
That ball into center field.
And they do not make that catch. So the second hit for Tyler.
Neshek got that one up, something he doesn't do very much to right-handers. He knows he made a mistake. And so that ball just out of the glove. And so he's 1 for 2. Catching .500.
Tyler Saladino pinch running for Flowers. So here's Gordon. He's 2 for 3. An RBI single. Leadoff single that started off that 2-run 8th.
Neshek is not difficult to run against.
That's high in the center field. Gordon hit that ball well. So 2 down. And here's Dwayne Wise. Dwayne's been to the plate one time. He struck out.
If you look at the left-handed Daryl Boston we just showed you, he's got a stopwatch. And that stopwatch is the time it takes when a pitcher comes to a set position, which is right there till the time the ball hits the catcher's glove. And if it's more than 1.3 seconds, the base runner has a pretty good shot at stealing second base. Average time for a catcher, what they call leather to leather, is when the ball hits his glove till it hits the glove of whoever's covering second base, is 2 seconds. It's a game of mathematics. Anything above 3.3 seconds, you can run. Anything below that, you better be exceptional or they're going to throw you out.
There he gave him a little extra motion, pulled a string on him. Just tuning in, sellout crowd here tonight at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. 7,363. That ball into left field, tailing away, and that's going to fall. Saladino will pull up at third on the double by Dwayne Wise, and it'll bring up Alexei. That was a nice piece of hitting right there by Wise.
Left-handers get pretty good shots at Neshek because of that motion, but he just went right with it, sliced it down the line. Whitaker couldn't get to it. And Saladino stumbled a bit, but he wasn't going to score on that anyway.
Alexei is 2 for 4 this evening. Takes a breaking ball strike. Quickly 0-2. Ooh, he made a mistake and got away with it.
Neshek was trying to keep that ball away, out of the zone. He hung it right down the middle, and Alexei realizes that he had a great pitch to hit, just didn't get it.
Good job by Alexei fighting that one off. Hang in there. Got another good pitch to hit.
Well, it's not rare to get away with one mistake in an at-bat. It is fairly rare to get away with two. But Neshek has been able to do that.
Four runs on 10 hits for our guys. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Athletics. Made a pretty good pitch right there. Good eye by Alexei. Ducks on the pond. And 2 out.
It's turned into a pretty good at bat as Alexei battling Neshek, who's made a couple of mistakes, gotten away with them to this point. Ramirez with 2 hits already tonight, scored a run last inning.
Out and around that breaking ball. Also, if you're just tuning in, Jose Quintana went 5 2/3, giving up 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts.
I thought he looked terrific, and you could see, however, in the 6th inning, as his pitches got closer to 100, that not only was the slider starting to hang, but the ball was slowly elevating with each and every pitch. He just kind of ran out of gas here.
He got another good breaking ball to hit. Alexei's had some good pitches to hit.
And he's just laughing because you're not going to miss 3 pitches, and when he is in the middle of this year, one of those 3 would have wound up hit very hard someplace.
Hung that one inside and just absolutely hammered. Rope hook foul. Oh, what a season defensively he had last year.
He just keeps getting better and better. You're not going to find many better arms in all of baseball than he has.
High and deep. Stretch. Nope. Light air. And that'll retire the side. He got away with 4 big mistakes in that at bat. Neshek did. Meanwhile, we'll go to the bottom of the ninth, still tied at 4.
Whitaker getting it in bat. Nice play by Wise. And tonight's GMC professional grade player of the game is Jose Quintana, who had 5 2/3 innings. He got just over 100 pitches, gave up just 2 runs on 2 hits, walking 3, fanning 9. He is our GMC professional grade player of the game.
So, here's Freitas. Takes first pitch strike. Santiago coming back in the 7th inning, and he's been dealing. Boy, that experience our youngsters got coming down the stretch in that pennant race.
I think it was terrific for all of them. One of the only problems with it was that so many of them were extended and got tired. But they will be better for that experience.
There you go.
Didn't play around very much. Just said, okay, I'll throw it as hard as I can, and you see what you can do. And in that case, nothing. Fastball right down the middle.
So 2 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Breaking ball striking, we do not know if in fact they will go to the 10th. And Stevie, that's just about as far as they can go.
In spring training, 10 is a max, and sometimes, especially if Oakland has a day game tomorrow, they will say 9 is enough.
One and one to count. And our game tomorrow night right here on Comcast Sportsnet. It'll be 9 p.m. Central. Our Sox against Don Mattingly's Dodgers. Jake Peavy on the bump for us. Steve told you earlier, in case you did not hear, Dodgers losing their shortstop for a while, a couple of months.
Hanley Ramirez, torn ligament in his thumb in the final game of the World Baseball Classic.
Nice job, a terrific job by Hector Santiago. And evidently they're going to go to 10. Umpires are still out there. No, they're coming off the field.
Well, that looks like that's going to be it.
All right. Indeed, that is it. And a reminder, our next game is tomorrow. Dodgers host our Sox at their shared facility. In the final here, a tie ball game, a 4-4 tie with the Sox and the Oakland A's from Phoenix Municipal Stadium. So for my partner, the Stone Pony, Steve Stone, for our director, Jim Angio, our producer, Michelle Godwin, our associate producer, Chris Kamka, technical manager, Mark Harper, and our senior executive producer, Vince